Hello students, today we are going to start the revision of the chapter number 4, that is ethical issues in engineering practice. So it is therefore the fourth semester electronics and communication and electronic instrumentation and control engineering, and the name of the subject is professional ethics and Indian constitution. This chapter carries total 15 marks in the semester end exam, and we are going to discuss the important questions with answer in the today's class. And this is my second video class. So first we start with, what do you mean by ethical issues? So basically, issue is a problem or situation that requires either a person or organization to choose between alternative. So that is which is evaluated either as right or wrong. So that is what ethical issues. Next concept is industrial standards. So basically, you consider any kind of industry, whether it is a process industry or manufacturing industry or anything, it requires what a certain standard. So that we call it as what industrial standard. So basically, standard or industrial standard is a set of technical definitions or guidelines that is used as instructions for designers, manufacturers, operators, or users of the equipment. So the industrial standards are very important for any industry. Standardization reduces a production cost, as well as at the same time we can improve the quality, and it helps the manufacturers or customers or public in keeping the competitiveness and ensuring the quality simultaneously. So industrial standards are established by the Bureau of Indian Standards in our country. So for example, we have seen the ISO certification or the ISO standard. So basically that is what international standard organization. So there are so many international standards available, for example ISO 9000, or it may be ISO 14000 or ISO 26000. Okay, next we are going to start. What do you mean by environmental ethics? Or the question may be asked like this: what are the duties of an engineer as an experimenter in environmental ethics? So basically, the environmental ethics it concerned with the ways so that is the way the human interact with the environment here. So the emergence of this environmental ethics, basically it came into force around the 1960s because of the effect of the technologies or industry and population growth we're having on the environment. So water and air pollution, depletion of natural resources, loss of biodiversity. So biodiversity in the sense what the existence of different kind of animals and plants, so which together will make a good and healthy environment. So that is what biodiversity. And destruction of ecosystems and global climate change, or what they are, what the part of environmental ethics here. So nowadays we can see the engineers, they are what in the past they are known for the negligence for the environment. So basically, as an engineer, so it is our duty to invent or manufacture any new thing, so which is what eco-friendly. So it has become an important now that the engineers has to design the eco-friendly tools or machines or processes and projects here. So all these are essential because we have to protect the environment, and we have to prevent the degradation of environment and slow down the exploitation of natural resources, so that the future generation can survive here. Okay, so next concept is plastic waste disposal. So as we all know, the what do you mean by plastic waste? So right, the waste which is generated after using any kind of plastic, right? You consider any plastic, it may be a water bottle, or it may be any packaging which is done with the plastic, or anything, right? Which is what which is made up of a plastic, and if you throw it outside, then it becomes what a plastic waste. So now in our country, the several crores of plastic bottles are used as containers for water and oil, and we used to carry plastic bags, and we used to pick the materials, and ranging from small vegetable or for ornaments or any other materials, right? Basically we use what carry bags here. So the most problem what we face here is we won't recycle those plastic things, right? Whenever we use it, then we throw it outside here. So basically they end up in what gutters or drainage systems or roadsides and or in agricultural fields here. So right, this mainly it causes as what a plastic waste here. So in all these destinations, they created a havoc here. Havoc, it is what basically it is a situation where there is what much distraction here or destruction here. So sometimes what we do is we burn plastic materials in the street, and even we put a camphor along with the plastic cover in the temples, since they exit what the toxic fumes, and they threaten seriously in air qualities here. The cities and the local administration have to act on this, and they have to collect and arrange for recycling through industries here. So basically they have to look for new methods to recycle the plastic here, and it is not only the duty of the government, and it is the responsibility and the duty of each and every citizens, so that he has to utilize less plastics here, right? Wherever it is possible, you try to carry a bag to the market, right? So no, you should not use what much plastic here. So that is was first one. And second one is e-waste disposal. So basically e-waste, it is nothing but electronic waste. The term e-waste, it applies to any consumer and business electronic equipment that is near or at the end of its useful life. You take any electronic equipment, starting from a small battery or a cell to any bigger electronic equipment. Suppose if you use it for certain years, right, it will reach its end of its life. So whenever we throw it outside or we kept at home, it becomes what a e-waste here. So the e-waste products mainly contains heavy metals like cadmium or a lead or a copper and a chromium, so that can contaminate the environment. So that is what most dangerous part in the electronic waste here. So there are so many examples of electronic waste we can quote, like TVs or computer monitors, printers, scanners, keyboards, cables, circuit boards, calculator, digital videos, cameras, radios, DVD players, MP3, CD players. Right, the list will go on. It will not end here. So we have so many electronic products here. So that is what one of the fastest growing manufacturing industry in India as well as the world is the production of electrical and electronic instrument. So as the production grows, the creation of even the e-waste will increase here. So India is ranked the higher in the manufacture of what electronic products globally. So if the e-waste is not disposed in a time with a proper method, so definitely that will lead to what serious situations in the country here. So there are so many disposal methods we can use for e-waste here. The first one is recycling of e-waste. We can recycle the e-waste. Second, landfill. So basically landfill is what it is a method of e-waste disposal in India. Basically it is followed in India, but that causes what serious threats to the environment here. And third method was incineration. So it is a method where the waste material is burned in a specially designed incinerators at a very high temperature, so that can reduce the number of e-waste. And the fourth one is reusing of e-waste. And the next concept is industrial waste disposal here. Basically industrial waste is the one which is produced from the industrial activity during the manufacturing process, such that of factories or mills or any mining operations here. So thousands of small and large scale industries, simply what they will do is they'll dump their waste, and more often the toxic or hazardous, in either in the open space or nearby water resources here. So as there is what rapid industrializations in the world or in the country, so which has resulted in the generation of what the huge quantity of waste, either in the form of say, solid or liquid. So the industrial sectors such as sugar distilleries, dairies, etc. Basically, they cause more industrial waste here. So these waste are generally dumped on a land or discharged into the water without any preventive treatment. and which becomes what a large source for environmental pollution and health hazard. So there is what the classification of industrial waste, so that is hazardous and non-hazardous. Basically, hazardous waste is one either which is in the solid, liquid, or gaseous form, and which may cause danger to the environment here. And it is assumed that about 10 to 15% waste produced by the industries are hazardous, and the generation of hazardous waste is increasing at a rapid rate of 2 to 5% per year here. So hazardous waste include products that are explosive, flammable, irritant, harmful, toxic, corrosive, infectious, etc. And non-hazardous industrial waste, basically this industrial waste is generated by the industrial activities, but it is similar to the household waste by its nature, so it is not so dangerous here, it is not toxic at all, and which presents no harm or hazard, and thus requires any no special any treatment here. So next we are going to discuss what do you mean by computer ethics and what are the different types of problems in computer ethics. Basically, the computer ethics we can define as the study and analysis of nature and social impact of computer technology. There are different types of problems in the computer ethics. So that is the first one is the computer as the instrument of unethical act. So unethical, it is basically what a not ethical one, not a legal one. So that is first one, the use of computer replaces the job position. So that this has been we can overcome this by a large extent by readjusting the work environment or assignment, and we can train everyone on computer applications such as word processing, editing, and graphics. The second one is breaking the privacy. So breaking the privacy means the information or the data of the individuals we can easily access, erased, or ownership can be changed. And third one is defraud a bank or a client by accessing and withdrawing money from the other's bank account. So such cases we will see a lot of such cases nowadays, right? Without knowing you people, so somebody will access your account and they will withdraw the money from you. So that is basically what defraud of bank. These are what certainly they are what unethical here. They are not ethical. And second one is computer as the object of unethical act. So under this, the first point is hacking. So basically, the hacking means what? Either the software is stolen or information is accessed from other computers here. So basically, a person is sitting in a remote place and he will access or he will stole your software or your personal information from your system, and that will cause what the financial loss to the business, and the violation of privacy rights of the individuals or business here. So if in case of defense information being hacked, this may endanger the security of the nation here. So because that data or that information is what very secret information, and if any person if they hack your system or any defense information, that will be what a threat to the nation here. So basically the person who is involved in the hacking process, he is called as a what, a hacker here. And second one is spreading virus through mail or through message. So the virus is what intentionally they are allowed to spread, which causes what loss to the business, or we can change the contents, or the ownership can be changed here. So there are so many viruses, so that can affect your system here. So Trojan horses are implanted to distort the messages and files beyond recovery. So there are certain viruses such that if they attack on your systems, so it is what it is difficult to recover your files here, and this causes again the financial loss or mental torture to the individuals here. So some hackers do this for fun, however these acts what they are certainly unethical. So they basically the virus will be spread from one system to the other system by the hackers here. So actually that is not a ethical one, and some of them they'll do it for fun here. And third one is health hazard. So the computers pose threat during their use as well as during disposal. Means whenever you are using the system, so definitely that will be a threat for you. So right, you may get a headache, you may get a back pain, you may get a wrist pain, and even we throw it outside. So right after using, if you dispose it or if you throw it outside, even that is what a threat to the environment here. Okay. So one is problems related to the autonomous nature of computer. So under this we have a security risk as well as a loss of human values. So basically autonomous nature of computer is what basically it is a network that is what administered by a single set of management rules that are controlled by one person or the organization here. So security risk means a small mistake or small error in software may cause huge loss in the technology, and that will threat to the internal security of the nation. So loss of human values, so that is the risk and loss of human lives by computers in the operational control of military weapons. That is a small mistake, unexpected error in the software or hardware during interfacing between the two may cause what a serious attack, and it may cause what irreparable human loss before the error is threat here. And next one is various issues in computer ethics. So first one is computers in workplace. So that is what are the problems, ethical problems by the computers in the workplace here. The first one is it eliminates of routine and manual jobs here. So basically this leads to unemployment here. So most of the people, they used to work on a manually, but as the computers were invented here, so we have what more unemployment problems here. But the IT jobs are created for the people. Initially this may require some skills or some knowledge, but through training we can solve the problem here. For example, so in the older days we used to see a typist, now we have a programmer there. And second one is health and safety. So there are so many ill effects due to the electronic radiation, especially on a pregnant woman. That is, we have a mental stress. There is a wrist problem. If you use the computer continuously, you may get a wrist problem. You may get a back pain, eye strain due to poor lighting and flickers in the display and long exposure. So these are creating huge problems to the health and safety of the people here. And third one is computer failure. So failures in the computer may be due to the errors in the hardware or software. So hardware errors they can easily trace and we can solve it easily, but the software errors are very serious, and so they can stop what the entire network here. And second one is computer crime. The ethical features involved in the computer crimes are, first one is physical security and last one is logical security. So physical security means the computers are to be protected against theft, fire or any physical damage. This can be done by using what the proper insurance on the particular assets here. So logical security means the aspect which are covered in the logical security are the privacy of the individuals and the organizations. So modification of the data or program can be done only by the authorized person and by using providing the UPS, that is what uninterruptible power supply. So that will give what the continuous power supply for the system during the power failure. And fourth one is we can protect the systems against the hackers, so by using licensed antivirus packages as well as firewalls here. Next concept is what is the role of engineer as a manager. So engineering is an what the important and learned profession here. So basically the services provided by the engineer must be must require what honesty, impartiality, fairness and equality. So the characteristics or the features of engineer as manager is, the first one is he has to resolve conflicts by developing mutual understanding and generating various alternative solutions to the problems. So that is what the main characteristics of engineer as a manager. So he can resolve the conflicts between the people and by developing some mutual understanding here, and he has to look for what alternative solutions for the problems here. Second one, they have the responsibility to produce the safe and good products. So that is the main the intention of the engineer is what they have to produce the products which are what safe and even they have to show some respect to the human beings. It may he may be a employee or the customer or the public. And third characteristics is the good manager must have the ability to communicate the objectives of the project to their teammates. And fourth one, so manager need to provide a clear and good instructions to the teammates, so that all the members of the team they work together and they finish the work in a given time here. And fifth one is the manager must be aware that so all the people will absorb the information in the same manner here. So because some employees they are what they are slow learners, they need certain different method to teach the things, and there are certain employees who can understand the concept easily here. So that is the duty of the manager or engineer in order to identify who is the slow learner and who is a fast learner, and we have to treat or we have to train those employees particular to that. And sixth one is manager has the ability to keep cool when the going gets tough and managing the time efficiency. So as a manager he has what a lot of tensions in the work. Sometimes the things will go smooth, and sometimes what will happen, the things will not be in a good manner here. So right, he has to keep his mind in a cool manner, and he has to manage the time efficiency here. And the next concept is code of ethics. Basically the code of ethics is a set of principles or rules used by the companies or professional organizations or individuals, so in understanding the difference between right and wrong, and in order to apply this to their decisions here. And we are going to learn the code of ethics followed in institution of engineers and code of ethics in data group. So first we are going to learn code of ethics in institution of engineers. The code of ethics followed in institution of engineers are: a member of institution of engineer shall utilize his or her knowledge and expertise for the welfare, health, safety of the community. He has to maintain the honor, integrity, and dignity in all his professional actions. And third one is he should act only in the domains of his competence with diligence, care, sincerity, and honesty. And he shall apply his knowledge and expertise in the interest of this employer or the clients here. He should not falsify or misrepresent his own or his associate qualification, experience, etc. He shall maintain honesty and fairness in making judgments on the basis of his adequate knowledge. He shall not directly or indirectly injure the professional reputation of another employee. So he shall reject any kind of offer that may involve unfair practice or may cause avoidable damage to the ecosystem. And he should not act in any manner which may injure the reputation of the institution or which may cause any damage to the institution financially or otherwise here. And he should not accept any financial or other consideration from anyone related to the project or assignment of which he is in charge here. And now we are going to discuss the code of ethics in Tata Group. As we all know that Tata is one of the biggest company in India. So right, we find the Tata Group in almost all the sector, in the automobile sector, in the process sector, in the manufacturing sector, everywhere we have seen. Right, as a Tata employee, so there are certain code of ethics they have to follow. A Tata company shall provide equal opportunities for all the employees and all the qualified applicants for employment without regard of, to their caste, race, religion, color, marital status, gender, age, nationalities. So employees of Tata Group shall be treated with dignity and in accordance with the data policy to maintain a work environment free of sexual harassment, whether physical or verbal. A Tata company shall strive to provide a safe and healthy working environment. A Tata company shall be committed to supply quality of products and services. A Tata company shall cooperate with other Tata companies by sharing physical, human and management resources. The use of Tata name and trademark owned by the Tata Sons shall be governed by manuals and agreements to be issued by the Tata Sons. So every employee shall be responsible for the implementation of and compliance with the code in his professional environment. Failure to do this will get severe consequences, including termination of the employment. So, an employee of Tata Company shall not engage in any business, relationship, or activity which might detrimentally conflict with the interest of his company or the group here. So, this is the last point in the chapter. So, we'll see you in the next video. Thank you.